What's up everyone, Jonas here for Thomann synthesizers. In today's video I'm going to focus on sample modules inside my Eurorack case and how I would use it for my sound design approach or to create interesting live sessions. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video and let's start with creating drums. In my opinion, a sample module in your Eurorack case is pretty helpful for creating a space, especially for drums. So let's say if I want to play a live set, then perhaps I need a kick, a tom, hi-hats, claps, shakers, snares, whatever, and to have a module for each and one of those drum sounds, I would need pretty much a lot of space. So with a sample module, I have the chance to reduce the setup and have pretty much everything and compact in one solid module. But of course, a sample module is not directly a sample module which fits your needs. There are a lot of different approaches to use samples in Eurorack, so you have to figure out what are actually my needs, and then you have to find out for what each sample module is useful for. Some different approaches to use sample modules, just having a backup of drums. One would be to reduce your setup, of course, to be able to play live, to have a bigger range of sound opportunities, be able to break up your sound design approaches. A sampler can be everything you want, or you can load in waveforms and chords and create or emulate a little synthesizer. If we're having a look at those two sample modules, the FormS stereo triggered sampler and the Squab by Rample, I think those are pretty interesting in each approaches. So I think the Rample is pretty useful to have it as a kind of live playing tool, because you have the possibilities of 4 channels here. So basically all fundamental drum elements you can have inside one module. What you're hearing now is 1 channel, 2, 3, and 4. Overall, Rample is coming with an extraordinary sample library with, I think, an amazing quality. So if we have a look at Rample a bit more detailed, then we have the possibility not only to play samples, but we can use different effects, and you have the chance to modulate it. So let's check out the pitch. So it's changing the pitch of all channels at the same time. We can also go for perhaps a different one. Go for Bit Crusher. And what I like about drums in here is actually you can hear it, especially on the cymbal. It's not the same sample all the time. It's a little bit different, and that's what makes the Rample library so special, because it's called cycle mode, and you have a different or the same sample with different character traits, let's say, and because you can play it in a random order, it's almost close to humanize a sample, which is really, really special and almost unique in my opinion. Manually, that's the same sample. You see? The FormS compared to the Rample is looking a little bit bigger, but is also different in function, because, well, I would say in the Rample everything is behind the menu, so you have to dig inside the menu, the knob combinations, etc. And the FormS is bringing everything to the layout, so there's nothing really hidden, because you have a lot of CV inputs, a lot of control settings, and for every function or almost every function a knob. The module is called stereo triggered sampler because you have one left, one right channel for a stereo output, or you can use both channels in mono, so you have two channels, and of course this is a lot less compared to the Rample. But as said, the Rample is more kind of a live module slash drum machine, kind of, let's say. And of course we can play decent drums with the 4MS as well. So you can select a lot of different bangs and a lot of different samples, which are really decent as well. As said, it's a kind of sound design tool, so let's start patching something, and which is really interesting, I think, and really helpful also to control and arrange really interesting sounds and combine sounds together with playing samples, is end output, because every time the sample is coming to an end, it's popping out a signal, and we could use this to, let's say, to reverse the second channel. So let's patch something with Pamela and our Sadar by Chaos, and let's patch it to the octave input, because I think using kind of weird patch ways is the starting point of always something really interesting. There we go. Let's use our end output to modulate the same thing but on the second channel. And now we have one output left, and I want to try to modulate the sample by itself, let's say. And for this we're using the second output, and we have to double this one using my multiplier here, and then I'm sending it to the input of our FX8, and the dry wet signal of the FX8 is fully opened. So we have one just like this. Perhaps you can also damp it a little bit to modulate the sample itself. Now we are starting to have something really interesting in sound design, which started with the plain tom and kick drum. So I think overall the 4MS is really interesting to create interesting textural and tonal results. So it's not only a sample playback tool, let's say, but also a really interesting sound design tool for drums. In terms of a sound design tool, of course, the Squab Rample is giving us a lot of opportunities. Handy tool, I think, to create interesting layers. And now let's use the different channels, and let's assign some modulation to maybe 2 or 3 different channels. So both of the effects are being controlled with the same LFO. As mentioned, you can use a sample module to create a small synthesizer as well. And for this one, I'm going to record different notes with my Deckard stream and afterwards load it into the module via the SD card. With the recordings of the Deckard stream, we are now able to create a kind of synthesizer emulation. For this, I'm using the Rample because it has 4 channels. And of course, we're able to change the pitch of the individual stems or channels to create kind of chords. And I think there's the starting point to create something really interesting. So let's assign our modulation to the stems. Alright, I think that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions and thoughts regarding sample modules or anything else, then please put it in the comment section and we will get back to you. So thanks again and see you next time.